At first, he ignored it, but the sound kept returning night after night, and eventually, curiosity got the better of him. What he discovered would become the most terrifying experience of his life. I've been a night gatekeeper of Blackthorn Cemetery for almost 4 years, and until last month, I thought every ghost story was complete nonsense. The job was boring most nights. I opened the gates at dawn, locked them at sunset, and spent the rest of the night driving a battered golf cart through rows of gravestones, making sure teenagers weren't sneaking in to drink or vandalize the place. The pay was decent, the hours were quiet, and after a while the cemetery became strangely comforting. The dead never caused problems. The living did. At least, that's what I believed. Then the previous gatekeeper disappeared. Not quit, not transferred. Disappeared. One night, he started his shift like normal. Security cameras showed him making his rounds at 2:58 a.m. At 3:07 a.m., every camera in the cemetery went black for exactly 17 seconds. When the footage returned, his flashlight was lying in the middle of the main pathway. He was gone. The police searched for weeks. Drones scanned the grounds. Cadaver dogs were brought in. Nothing was found. No body, no blood, no clues. Just an abandoned flashlight and a gate that had somehow been unlocked from the inside. I only learned those details after I took his job, and I wish I never had, because on my first night, the old caretaker handed me a ring of keys and gave me a warning that still keeps me awake. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "If anyone asks to leave the cemetery after 3:07 a.m., don't open the gate." At the time, I laughed. 3 weeks later, I heard the voice. It happened during a cold, rainy Thursday night. The cemetery was empty. I was sitting inside the gatehouse watching security monitors and drinking stale coffee when the intercom crackled to life. The digital clock on the wall read 3:07 a.m. A woman's voice whispered through the speaker, "Please let me out. I nearly spilled my coffee." The voice sounded weak, terrified, human. I checked the monitor showing the front gate. Nobody was there. "Hello?" I asked. Static answered. Then the voice returned, closer this time. "Please, let me out." I grabbed my flashlight and headed outside. The rain soaked through my jacket as I approached the entrance. The gate stood closed. The road beyond it was empty. No cars, no people, no sign that anyone had spoken through the intercom. At exactly 3:08 a.m., the speaker went silent. I convinced myself it was faulty equipment. I didn't tell anyone. The same thing happened the next night, and the night after that, always at 3:07. Always the same desperate plea. Sometimes it was a woman, sometimes a man, sometimes a child, but there was never anyone there. After 2 weeks of this, I finally confronted Walter, the old caretaker. His face turned pale the moment I mentioned the voices. "You hear them too? You knew about this?" He nodded slowly. "Every gatekeeper hears them." "What are they?" He stared toward the cemetery. "I don't know." That answer irritated me. "You've worked here 30 years. "I know one thing," he said. "What?" "Never answer them." Of course, that only made me more curious. A few days later, I began reviewing archive security footage. The cemetery stored recordings going back nearly 15 years. At first, everything seemed normal. Then I noticed a pattern. Every single gatekeeper eventually experienced the voices. The logs mentioned strange intercom activity, unexplained disturbances, equipment failures, and in several cases, disappearances. One recording caught my attention. It belonged to a gatekeeper named Rick, the man who had vanished before I was hired. At 3:07 a.m., he exited the gatehouse and approached the entrance. He stood there for nearly 30 seconds. Then he unlocked the gate. The heavy metal doors slowly swung open. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Rick stumbled backward, his mouth open to scream. The camera filled with static. When the image returned, he was gone. Just like that. Gone. That night, I couldn't sleep. The next evening, I returned to work, determined to uncover the truth. At 3:07 a.m., the intercom activated again. This time the voice made my blood freeze. It was my mother. My mother had died from cancer 3 years earlier. Yet I recognized her instantly. "Please let me out, sweetheart." My knees nearly gave out. The voice was perfect. Every detail, every inflection. exactly as I remembered. Tears fill my eyes. For a moment, I actually reached for the gate keys. Then Walter's warning echoed in my mind. Never answer them. I stepped back. The voice changed immediately. The warmth disappeared. The kindness vanished. What emerged was something else. Something inhuman. Something furious. The speaker exploded with screaming. Hundreds of voices shouted at once. Thousands. Men, women, children, all screaming the same words. "Let us out." The sound rattled the windows. The lights flickered. Then the clock changed to 3:08. Silence. Absolute silence. The next morning, Walter finally told me the cemetery secret. In 1978, a fire destroyed the old crematorium located at the far end of the grounds. 27 people died. Employees, visitors, funeral workers. Several bodies were never recovered. Local rumors claimed the victims had never truly left. Most people dismissed the stories until strange things started happening. Visitors reported hearing voices among the graves. Night guards quit unexpectedly. Several employees disappeared. Then came the gatekeepers. Every few years one would vanish. Always after hearing the voices. Always after opening the gate. For months, nothing unusual happened. The voices continued. I ignored them. Life returned to normal. Then last month, everything changed. I was performing a routine patrol near section when I spotted a man standing between two gravestones. At first I assumed he was a trespasser. I called out. No response. I moved closer. The figure remained perfectly still. When my flashlight illuminated his face, I nearly dropped it. The man wore an old cemetery uniform. His skin looked gray and rotten. His eyes were completely black. A rusted name tag hung from his chest. Rick, the missing gatekeeper. He smiled. Not a friendly smile. The smile of something pretending to be human. Then he spoke. Don't open the gate. Before I could respond, he vanished. Not ran. Not walked away. Vanished. Like smoke in the wind. I considered quitting. Instead, I stayed. Partly because I needed the money. Partly because I wanted answers. That decision may have been the biggest mistake of my life. 3 nights ago, the cemetery changed. The air felt wrong. Heavy. Oppressive. Even the animals seemed afraid. No birds. No insects. Nothing. At exactly 3:07 a.m., every monitor inside the gatehouse flickered. Then every screen displayed the same image. The front gate. But it wasn't showing the present. It showed hundreds of shadowy figures standing just beyond the graves. Watching. Waiting. The intercom activated. Thousands of voices whispered simultaneously. Open the gate. The lights went out. The room plunged into darkness. Outside, something moved. A lot of somethings. I looked through the window. Every pathway in the cemetery was crowded with figures. Men, women, children, burned bodies, rotting bodies, shapes that barely looked human, all walking toward the entrance, all moving silently. The gate suddenly unlocked itself. I heard the metal latch click open. The doors began to swing outward. The shadows surged forward. I grabbed the emergency controls and slammed the gate shut. The impact echoed across the cemetery. Instantly, everything disappeared. The figures, the voices, the darkness. Gone, as if none of it had happened. The next morning, I reviewed the footage. Every camera showed normal activity. Nothing unusual, nothing supernatural, except for a single frame. One image captured at exactly 3:07 a.m. It showed thousands of figures standing behind the gate. At the front of the crowd stood Rick. His black eyes stared directly into the camera. Beneath the image appeared a message. 3 simple words. Next time, open. I'm writing this from the gatehouse right now. It's 2:56 a.m. The cemetery is quiet. Too quiet. The security monitors keep flickering. Every time they do, I see faces staring back at me, smiling, waiting. The intercom hasn't activated yet, but I know it will, because something is scratching at the gate outside, slowly, patiently, and every few minutes, another message appears on the monitors. The same sentence over and over again. You cannot keep us here forever. The clock just changed to 3:05. 2 minutes left. If this post suddenly stops updating, you'll know why. And if you ever find yourself near Blackthorn Cemetery after midnight and hear someone begging to be let out, don't answer, don't look, and whatever you do, don't open the gate.